What's up, everybody? It's your boy DJ 730, and I'm back with another one today, man. Today, we doing the best Larry Bird. Okay, Mamba Mentality. So I guess this is beef with Larry Bird, if they ever had some. I don't even think they played at the same time. But anyway, let's get into the story, man. So sit back, relax. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you get in comments, commentate, and also, make sure you like this video all the way up. And hold up, before we get into this video, if you got a shot, take one with me. Oh yeah, I'm a big Raiders fan. Yes, big one, not the little one. Let's go.
When Kobe Bryant created an alter ego for himself, the Black Mamba, he embodied a spirit that became a cultural phenomenon.
So Kobe has to deal with these issues, all the personal challenges. Mm-hmm. The Black Mamba steps on court and does what he does.
The Mamba Mentality, an intense focus and relentless approach in preparation and competition, or as Kobe would describe it,
fuck everybody.
Yeah.
I'm destroying everybody that steps on the court.
And just guess who Larry Bird's favorite basketball player is?
Kobe was always my favorite since I got out.
I don't like that, by the way.
But Kobe is one of the toughest human beings I've ever seen, because I know what he's been through, and he's played a hell of a lot more minutes than me.
Yeah.
And he just finally figured out, hey, I'm going to get hurt. I'm just going to have to play through it. And that's the mentality of a great player.
Which, if you could have picked any current player right now to play with for an entire season, who would you pick?
Probably Kobe, because
Really?
of the fact that he's... well, of course, he wouldn't have been shooting as much as he does now.
Yeah, you
His desire to win, his dedication in the off season to get better, and he's just tough. He's just a tough cat. But if you want to have fun, like I did with Bill Walton, you play with LeBron.
Really?
It'd been probably more fun to play with LeBron. But if you want to win, it's Kobe.
Now, if you know anything about Larry Bird, then you should not be surprised that he picked Kobe Bryant over LeBron James, because Larry Bird had that same Mamba mentality that Kobe had way before Kobe coined the phrase. And it all started after Larry Bird had a bad experience as a freshman at Indiana University, causing him to drop out of college after only 2 weeks on campus. To everyone's surprise, Larry had given up his basketball career and gone back to his hometown of French Lick, Indiana, to become a garbage collector.
Like talk about the garbage. In French Lick, it takes you about half a day to pick up all the garbage, so that was a very small part. But you know what, Mark? It's a job. I never thought I was too good to do anything. I'd do it today if I had to. But a lot of things were cutting trees down, painting curves, cleaning the streets, laying asphalt. We did everything.
But when Bill Hodges, the head coach of Indiana State, went to French Lick to meet Larry Bird for the very first time, he said one thing to Larry that struck a nerve so hard that it made Larry change his mind from being a garbage collector to being a cold-blooded killer on the court.
What'd he say?
And Larry's first victims were Indiana State's starting five.
You know, when I got to Terre Haute, Bob King, he asked me what I knew about the players in the state. And when Larry was a junior, he wasn't very big then. He was about 6'3", but I guess he's grown quite a bit since then. I saw him play in the All-Star game. That he's really good. He said, well, let's go get him. And I got a hold of a kid that had played high school ball. He was a senior when Larry was a junior. He was one of Larry's best friends. He went home and talked Larry to coming up there to visit, and I think he had Kevin Carnes with him and 2 or 3 other kids, and they came out and played against our best 5 players, and they wore their jeans. I tried to give him a pair of shorts to wear, he wouldn't wear them, and they went out and just whooped our guys in their blue jeans.
Damn.
They didn't just pick up, they wore them out.
This mentality is one of the rare traits that only a select few of the all-time greats had. And when Kevin Pritchard, who played 6 years in the NBA, was asked about his most memorable experience, Larry Bird's mentality was at the top of the list.
Okay.
1 second, he'll plant the 3.
Time out. Is Buddy Pritchard that played for the Celtics now? Is that his son? I don't know. I just had to. Y'all know the current roster for the Celtics, right? Pritchard. Y'all know the little short white guy. He be hooping. He come off the bench. He probably like they 6 man. Is this his daddy? Is this his daddy? If it's not, let me know. Y'all do the research. Y'all quick with it.
I played for the Celtics and Larry.
That gotta be his
I
day.
mean, it doesn't get much better than that. You know, seeing him on a daily basis, seeing how he saw the game, how it came so easy, and how just such a masterful player he was. I think the thing you know about Larry is that he's ultimately super confident, right? I mean,
Yeah,
he knows he's going to make the shot, and okay. And I kid with people all the time about that, and I try to explain how I see it, how his confidence is. And I think the way I would explain it is this. If aliens were coming down to the earth and they said, listen, we're going to give you one shot to make one free throw, or else if you make it, earth goes on living. You miss it, we destroy the earth. The thing I would do is I would hand the ball to Larry Bird. Larry would make the free throw and he'd go, where are we going for lunch?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he does that, but he's just got this ability to take all the clutter, all the noise out, and just play basketball or see basketball. And to me, that's a special talent. You know, everybody tries it. I'll give you another example. We go down to his ranch and we throw beanbags, you know, cornhole toss, right? And the guy is world class, and he turns into he just kind of plays for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it gets close. He becomes, I'm telling you, I would put him against anyone in the universe at doing it, because he'll go four in a row, and I don't know how he can turn that on like he does. It's an amazing gift that he's been given, and you know what? To be honest with you, he takes full advantage of it.
Yeah.
He's one of those kind of guys to me that whatever his ceiling is and whatever he does, he's going to hit it.
And as soon as Larry Bird stepped on a college basketball court, his opponents could already tell that Larry Bird was just on another level. Like the first time when Bill Lynch, as a senior at Butler University, played Indiana State when Larry Bird was just a sophomore.
This is true. My senior year, we played him twice. We were playing Indiana State home and home back in those days. And he was a sophomore, and he just beat our brains out, to tell you the truth. The very first time we played him, it was like one of the first time possessions down the court, and I got switched off on it. So the ball goes up. I went to block him out, you know, like fundamental, and the ball came off, and I remember going up to get it, and the next thing I know, I saw this big arm come over the top. He slammed that ball down so hard, I think the ball hit the floor, came up and hit me underneath the chin. I bit my tongue. I turned around, and there's 33 running the other way. That was probably his first 2 of 40-some that night. But he was, looking back at it, though, I think we even knew that night enough. You know, we played against a guy that's as good as you could ever play against. And scouting reports back in those days weren't quite the way they are today. It was a little bit of, you went in before the game and the coach says, okay, Lynch, you got 25, and Burris, you got 32, and we were just playing man-to-man defense. And we went through the season. Then our last college basketball game, my final game I played at Butler was at Hinkle, and it was Larry Bird and Indiana State coming back in. And so we were ready for him that night. He got 47 on us that night, and he could have scored 70. Of course, that was back before the three-point shot. But we played against a lot of really good players, but there was no one like Larry. I mean, he was so good, and he could do anything he wanted on the court.
That day, Larry Bird, as a sophomore, set Indiana State's single-game scoring record against Butler. This record only lasted for 2 years, because on February 25th, 1979, versus Wichita State, Larry Bird broke his own record and set a mark that has not been broken for 45 years and counting.
This is the first time that Indiana State Sycamores have ever been on national television. And are they ready? They think they're number one. And they hope to prove today by remaining undefeated.
That would have been a hell of an upset.
That's the man, Larry Bird. Yalosinski. The jump against Gilbert and Floyd. The third boots up the call next to Court.
He had the best hand-eye coordination, maybe, of anybody that ever played basketball. And that's why he was so good with his anticipation, both offensively and defensively.
Larry Bird. There you saw the passing ability of Larry Bird, supposed to be the best passing forward in basketball in some time.
But even though Larry Bird was the best passing forward in college basketball, instead of putting on a passing clinic, he decided to put on a shooting one.
He's having quite a game. He's that ball. Bird. Goes up and puts it in. Get out your calculators, men. Let's see what? Larry Bird off the backboard.
Another.
Getting into gear now. Bird from the corner. Is he the best collegiate player in the country? Many people say he certainly is.
There wasn't anything he didn't think he could do on the basketball floor. Our game plan was to get the ball in his hands as much as possible, and he made good things happen.
Bird almost lost that ball out of bounds. Now takes a shot.
Made him look.
There's one in your face. Here's where you catch Larry Bird. Watch him put the ball in the face.
Come
there.
here.
Fake it in the face.
Come
And
here.
then now watch him shoot it. Unbelievable. You know how far away that is? That's in left field.
By halftime, Larry Bird already had 22 points. But just imagine if he had a three-point line to go with it.
Damn, they did. Oh, they didn't have a 3-point. Them all twos.
Unbelievable outside shooter.
Indiana State has scored its first. Oh, here's a long one again.
It seems that the further out he is, the more high percentage he gets the ball.
Of course, by himself. Look out. That's what happens. Look out. 39 points by my count.
Good
And
God.
as Indiana State started pulling away, everyone knew that they were witnessing something special.
Bird comes up with it, puts it up, and it is good. Well, he's got 41 points already. He's putting on quite a display. Knicks shooting high. Bird is there.
Yeah.
There are the statistics on Larry
I would have been
Bird.
cocky as hell going into the
An
league.
all-time high, and he would have saved it for national television when his team is on.
There's somebody out there that's unforgettable, unflappable, unselfish, and unstoppable. And I don't know who it is, but I think that person will receive the most valuable player.
We'll think about it. Well, let's say we've got it. Larry Bird, $1,000 comes to Indiana State in his name. It's one of many accommodations he'll have before his collegiate and professional careers are over.
Student body wants Larry Bird to have the ball.
He's got the ball. He's got the shot. He's got the
Shooting that bitch having too much fun.
Larry Bird with 49.
That's on Wichita State, too.
And to think Larry Bird, one of the greatest players of all time, almost gave up his basketball career before it even started. But what exactly did Coach Bill Hodges say to Larry Bird the day they met to make Larry change career paths and play basketball at Indiana State? Well, I'll let Bill Hodges tell you exactly how it went down.
What'd you say?
So, 2 days after I was in Terre Haute, we went to French Lick. And everybody had tried to recruit him, but nobody had been able to get very far with him. He had kind of a bad taste in his mouth. He didn't know what he was going to do, though. And we found his high school coach, so he took us over to meet Larry. And Larry wasn't there, and his mom said, "You coaches are just driving him crazy. Why don't you just go away and leave him alone?" Bam, she closed the door. Gary said, "Wow, she must have had a bad day because she's normally real nice."
But one slam door wasn't enough to stop Bill Hodges, so he drove around French Lick, Indiana, until he could find Larry Bird himself.
So we drove around town and took Gary back. He said, "If you come back in a couple days, I'll round Larry up and you can get to talk to him." Dan said, "Well, let's go back to Terre Haute." I said, No, I'm from Zionsville. Zionsville's about the same size as French Lick. We're going to find Larry." I said, hey, there aren't too many places you can hide a 6'8" guy in a town like this. And we drove around for a while, and I made a right turn and started down the street, and we were passing a laundry where you go in and wash your clothes. Yeah. And here comes this big blonde kid out of there, and I said, "There he is right there." And I pulled in. He said, "You think?" I said, "There can't be two of them in this town." And I got out and introduced myself. He wouldn't shake hands because he had been working on his truck, and he was carrying a basket of clothes, and he put it in the car, and I started talking to him about, we'd like to talk to you about Indiana State. He said, "Well, I'm busy working on my truck right now. I just don't think I have time right now." And his grandmother, she heard me talking with him. So she come around there and she said, "Larry, these nice Granny, I'm working on my truck. Larry?
Man.
That was all there was to that. He didn't say
Granny.
anymore. So
Grandma's.
we followed him up there, and she fixes tea, and we sat and talked with him.
Grandma always see when them blessings come. Shout out to all the grandmas. Because they be knowing. Grandmas be knowing.
This golden opportunity was almost ruined by Bill's assistant because what he didn't know was, just like on the basketball court, Larry Bird was not above doing the dirty work.
We kept talking, and he was telling us about working for the city. I said, what do you do? He said, well, each day of the week is different. We paint the curbs one week, and we might pick up dead limbs and maybe plant flowers or in the parks on Tuesday, and then we do this Wednesday, and on Thursday we pick up garbage. I said, do you drive the truck? He said, hell no, Sam drives the truck. I work on the back. and it kind of kept going there. And so Stan had kind of said, well, you want to work on a garbage truck the rest of your life? And Larry kind of looked over and said, I kind of like the job. And I knew that wasn't making him happy. So I said, Stan, let's go. We got to get out of here. And Larry get back to work on his truck.
Luckily, Bill Hodges was there to redirect the conversation. Because if he wasn't, Larry Bird may have been content being a garbage collector for the rest of his life. Because out of all of the coaches and the recruiters that tried to get Larry to come to their school, Bill Hodges was the only person to connect with Larry. Because they were both from small towns and had a lot in common. But then Bill said something to Larry that woke up a sleeping giant.
I've been waiting
we talked
10
about
minutes.
playing AAU ball, which both of us had. And, we talked about baling hay, and, that's what he did during the summer. That's all I did during the summer. And we had a lot in common, small towns, and just we knew each other, I was talking about recruiting. We had to have a point guard, and he said, well, you ought to get Kevin Carnes. He said, my cousin, Kevin Carnes, he was a senior when I was a junior. He said, if he had gone to college, he'd have been a great player. And I looked at him, and I said, Larry, if you don't come and go to Indiana State with us, that's what they're going to say about you one day. And boy, that's the first time he looked me in the eye all day. And I knew I had him.
And when Bill Hodges came back to French Lick 2 days later and knocked on Larry Bird's door, Larry's mother answered again. But this time, she was singing a completely different tune.
What she
We headed back to Terre Haute, and I got all the papers that we needed to get signed and filled them out and addressed the envelope to Indiana. And 2 days later, I drove down there and knocked on the door. His mother answered the door. She said, oh, come in, Coach. It's good to see.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, wow, is this a different reception? And, Larry said, how'd you know I was going to sign? How'd you know? I said, well, you're an intelligent kid, and this is the intelligent choice to make. So all you have to do is sign right here, and I'll mail it for you. And he signed it, and the rest is history.
Larry Bird went on to have one of the greatest college careers ever. And as a senior, he led a relatively unknown Indiana State team to a 33-0 record and a berth in the national title game, prompting some experts to say that Larry Bird was the greatest college player of all time.
Going crazy.
Larry had to do more with less. I think, frankly, that Larry Bird getting the 1978-79 Indiana State team to the finals with a 33-0 record is the single greatest personal achievement in the history of college basketball.
It is.
I hear what you're saying about Kareem. I'm actually old enough. I got to watch Wilt Chamberlain play college basketball at Kansas, and it was the same impact where he was just unstoppable. But Shannon, you grew up a fan of one Larry Joe Bird. And I got to tell you, the harder I look at what Larry Bird did with an Indiana State team, well, Larry Bird basically picked 4 guys from Terre Haute and said, you guys come out here and let's go try to win the NCAA championship. And I've never seen anything like what Larry did. Larry Bird took them to 33-0. And when you look at what they did, again, I'm going to give, I know what you're talking about, most important. Yeah, I got it. But most important or most valuable to one season. Man, what Bird did was just off the charts. We've never seen anything like that. It's just hard to go that far with that little. And Larry Bird did so much with so little.
I'll just have to say, now, everybody's got their favorite player and everything, but there's no question at all who it was the best player.
Who was the Mamba Bird?
Basketball, there is no doubt. And it's Larry Bird. I don't care. I'm prejudiced, maybe, but I mean, all-around player. Now, I don't think anybody will ever be like him.
This is Eric.
Like I said, man, we just got done doing Larry Bird, man, the Mamba Mentality. So, like I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you get in comments, commentate, get the debate in, because, you know, it went from this to that. Like, I like his college days. Like, I'm going to do a video of his college highlights, because, like, I like him hooping in college. I like his NBA pro highlight tape, too, but his college joint, I don't think everybody appreciate his college wave. You feel what I'm saying? Like that. Like, I feel like if you were alive while Bird was playing in college, you had to just be there. Because, you know, it wasn't no TV or hear it on the radio. You know what I mean? Like I said, man, it's your boy DJ 730, man. Make sure you get in comments, commentate. Make sure you like the video all the way up. And also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm out.